7 wins, 27 losses, and 8 ties. They're 8 points behind Washington. Pittsburgh tied with New Jersey, 37 points. That's the lowest total in the NHL. And right now Pittsburgh has played one more game. Tonight will be 2 more games than the Devils. And we are on our way. Chasing back for the Rangers, Reijo Ruotsalainen. And from the start, we have an icing 11 seconds into the game. Tonight in the NHL, one other game. Toronto is at Boston. Now this game was originally scheduled for February 12th, but the heavy snow in the Northeast caused that game to be canceled. Boston 1 point behind Philadelphia for the overall point standings, and Toronto 1 point behind St. Louis in the Norris division for a final playoff spot. So important game, Toronto at Boston.
Rangers certainly have been very explosive here at home as of late. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, have not won in their last 16 road games, so they will have a tough time tonight.
But they have won 2 of their last 3 games as Bullard takes it behind the net. The Rangers in their last 2 home games have totaled 20 goals. They beat Winnipeg 9-4, and they beat Hartford 11-3. In that game, Mark Pavlich scored 5 goals, and we'll see Pavlich tonight. It is Johnstone taking a look. He had Don Maloney in front, but he's crunched into the boards. Comes out to the point. Mike Rogers backhands. The tip by Johnstone went over the net as the Rangers put on the early pressure. Now it is finally cleared by Malone to center ice. We are 1 minute into this hockey game. Rick Keough, number 17 for Pittsburgh. He is just back. He has missed 5 games because of a knee injury. Also tonight, Paul Baxter returns to the Penguin lineup. He's been out the last 4 games with a shoulder injury. There's Pavlich, number 40, the diminutive young man. Plays it behind a Rob McClanahan. 2 of those players, of course, teammates on the United States Olympic victory, the gold medal in the Olympics. Tom Laidlaw goes back, sets up Anders Hedberg, plays it cross ice. As Gary Rissling deflects it into the crowd. Mark Pavlich out of Evelyn, Minnesota, which is also the hometown of the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's exactly where his Olympic gold medal is right now. And also, after the 5-goal game, the Hockey Hall of Fame getting souvenirs from Pavlich is the first American-born player to ever reach that plateau of 5 goals in an NHL game. No score, just starting here at Madison Square Garden. McClanahan plays it back to Laidlaw, who hits the red line, and he fires it in. Dion comes out. Hedberg keeps it in. He is checked by Tony Feltrin, the young defenseman, who is up. He was brought up when Baxter went down, and he remains up. The shot by Bullard in front. Or rather, Hammond gets the shot off, and the save made by Hanlon. Pittsburgh putting some pressure on. Steve Gansos tied up, and we finally have a whistle, and we'll have the face-off in the Ranger end. So Pittsburgh accomplishing at least one thing here, getting the puck in the Ranger zone. We have played 2 minutes and 5 seconds of this first period.
Well, we take a look at Gary Rissling here. Gary played for me in Washington. Very aggressive hockey player, not very big, but he certainly is mighty. He, you would say, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, is the aggressive player, probably the most aggressive player. He and Paul Baxter, they're tough guys.
5'9" and 175 for Rissling.
Well, I've seen him take on some 6'4" players in the National Hockey League.
Andre Celeron taking the draw against the rookie Chris Contos for the Rangers. Behind the net, Scott Kleinendorris, another rookie for the Rangers, coming off a 2-goal performance Saturday night against Quebec. His first 2 goals in the NHL. Pittsburgh keeping it in. Ron Duguay takes it behind. Hawkinson, who was just dumped, can't get it in front. And now it is Mikko Leninen out of Finland, who is turned around by Feltrin. Contos loses control. It is Maloney trying to steer it in, and he is dumped by Baxter. Mikko Leninen plays it head off the skate of Duguay. Baxter having trouble. Hooked in front, and now Pittsburgh coming out, but first a penalty has been called against the Pittsburgh Penguins as Duguay goes down. For our local affiliates, we'll pause right now. You're watching NHL Hockey on the USA Cable Network. Anders Hawkinson goes off for hooking at 2:56, so the Rangers with a power play. This has been a basic problem for Pittsburgh this year, Gary. They have been giving up a lot of goals, and many of them have come here in a penalty-killing situation.
Well, they've definitely taken too many penalties. They're second in the National League.
And it did not take long for Don Maloney to make it 1-0 in favor of the Rangers. 4 seconds.
Well, right off the face-off, that is the importance of proper alignment, as well as everyone on the ice knowing what you're going to do. Watch here as Rogers takes that draw, but over to the right of our screen, we see Maloney moving in on his forehand, and he put it right by Dion. Excellent shot.
And they're a prime example of why the Penguins are 19th out of 21 teams in penalty killing. For Maloney, it's his 29th goal of the season that ties a career high. And the Rangers on the attack again. It is Mike Rogers scrapping for the puck. Rogers, the leading scorer on the Rangers, with 67 points. Paul Gardner tries to brush it ahead, but there is Johnstone. Johnstone behind. Rangers looking again, leading it 1-0. The shot saved by Dion. And it is finally clear as Pittsburgh brings it out. Maloney on the assist from Rogers, as that is Maloney's 14th power play goal of the season. 14 of his 29 goals on the power play. Baxter lines it up, and it just squiggles by Hanlon. And Hanlon with a lucky break as that puck just rolled wide. And this one Hanlon covers up. He doesn't want to get any further after that.
On that last save that Hanlon made just prior to this, he didn't know where that puck went. He knew it was a booming shot, but he wasn't aware of where it was going. I think that he thought it went in behind him initially. Take a look at this last one on the replay. We see the shot. Well, we see this is Maloney's goal here. We see what an excellent shot it was. Again, the importance of being on your forehand at the time when he received the pass.
Rehu Ruotsalainen. Herb Brooks calls him perhaps the finest pure skater in the NHL. Robbie Fatorik, and it got a piece of the pipe. Dion shaking his head. He thought he had it, but Robbie Fatorik putting a little extra on that shot, and it beat Dion, but hit the pipe and deflected into the crowd.
Boy, Dion's lucky on that one, and I think when he was shaking his head, he can be thankful because that rang right off the kind of the top crossbar and the post, right on the corner of it there. It was destined for that top corner without any question.
The big line out for Pittsburgh as they have Bullard, Keogh, along with Malone. So Herb Brooks, Gary, was countering with a line of Fatorik, Fatihu, and Nedomansky. An interesting line.
Well, it is. I don't know whether you'd definitely call that a checking line or not.
And Fatihu rifles it wide. He worked well off the screen. 1-0 Rangers. Power play goal by Don Maloney. Just 4 seconds into the penalty, into the power play. Fatihu keeping it in. Nedomansky at 38 years old. Trips up a man, but no penalty is called. And Randy Boyd goes behind his net as the whistle blows. Ron Wicks apparently losing sight of the puck.
Well, we talked earlier about Minnesota and about the importance of their draft choice. There was Ron Meehan. He was a member of the Minnesota North Stars prior to the trade. Take a look at some action. That's the Pittsburgh's end zone.
That's the trade that sent Meehan here along with Hawkinson for George Ferguson, and the two teams switched first-round draft picks, which will come back to haunt Pittsburgh this season, as Lou Nanne now is sitting on their first-round pick, which could be the first pick in the draft. Right now they are tied with the Devils. That last spot, Rob McClanahan circles. It appears, it looks as if the Rangers are still on a power play. Steve Gatso sends it in. Dave Hannon racing for the puck. Now Maloney is bumped by Rissling, the man that Gary was talking about earlier. Very aggressive, using every pound that he has. Rangers lead it 1-0 as they have the puck in their own end. Hedberg puts it on the stick of Pavlich. Plays it ahead to McClanahan, but the Rangers are whistled for offside.
Good play there by Pavlich. He was trying to get it over to McClanahan.
So with 5 minutes gone by in this first period, 1-0 Rangers, and we'll hockey on USA. The Rangers leading the Pittsburgh Penguins by the score of 1-0. Pittsburgh with the puck as sandwich along the far side made of Tony Feltrin, as the Rangers all over the place here at the start of this game. We are 5.5 minutes into the first period. Dave Maloney behind his net. As the Rangers come out, Hedberg shoots it ahead from McClanahan. This is a speedy line, Gary, of McClanahan, Hedberg, and Pavlich.
Well, that it is, and you know, Herb Brooks' style is that he likes those passes coming up the middle ice area, and that suits this line extremely well. We were talking earlier about Paul Baxter. Just came back, as Al mentioned, after missing the last 4 games with a shoulder injury. He is one big, rugged, tough hockey player. He has been in the National League's bad books on a few occasions.
182 minutes of penalties for Paul Baxter. Randy Carlyle spun around. Peter Lee goes into the corner with Mikko Lehtonen trying to come out. The Penguins have not had any good shots on goal, as that one is whistled high. 6 minutes gone by in the first period at Madison Square Garden. Lehtonen, who holds the NHL playoff record of 6 assists in 1 game last year against Philadelphia. Celeron collides with Rick Chartrand. And now here is Celeron, the former Islander, trying to bust through, but Barry Beck comes back. Chris Conto circling behind his net, being watched closely by Hawkinson. Comes out to center, Randy Boyd, turned around by Duguay. And Pittsburgh with a puck. Mark Chorney. Pittsburgh going nowhere but backwards. A near steal by Lehtonen. And it is finally just shot in by Randy Boyd. Reijo Ruotsalainen onto the stick of Barry Beck. 13:15 to go in period number 1. 1-0 Rangers. Rangers lost Saturday night against Quebec. Previously, winning 2 here at home, scoring 20 goals in the process. 3 men up for the Rangers, but Eddie Johnstone couldn't get the puck there. Scott Kleinendorris, who's been a scoring hero the last couple of games. And Pat Boutet sends it in, but a teammate was already there. So offside against the Penguins. And we see here, Gary, in the outset, the dismal Penguin offense, as they just cannot get it going.
Well, they have had a difficult time scoring goals, but again, they have had a lot of their key players out with injuries this year. Guys like Kehoe, Paul Gardner out with, they are their big scorers. They have missed a fair number of hockey games for them. When you rely on a few guys to put the puck in the net for you, it's very difficult to win hockey games when they're out.
Well, Bullard's in there right now with Kehoe, returns from the injury, and Greg Malone, and we have a whistle. Offside again called against the Penguins, trying to get their act together. As you take a look at one of the youngsters on Pittsburgh, Randy Boyd, just 20 years old, and the Penguins have gone to a rebuilding program a little sooner than they had hoped.
Well, I think they were very smart in doing that, because I think they realized some of their players were getting older. They dealt off George Ferguson to Minnesota, but they have dealt and put some youth in their lineup, and in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Kleinendorris, the young man from Providence College, as Dion comes out. Don Maloney in front. He scored the lone goal. Johnstone runs into his own man, Lehtonen, and here come the Penguins on a 3-on-2. Bullard sets up Kehoe, and that one smashes off the post. And the Rangers come back. Maloney with a man in front. And Johnstone just couldn't get the stick on it. Now things are opening up. Pittsburgh with Bullard taking the check. Kehoe is there. He puts it in front, but Don Maloney comes back, and now it's the Rangers' turn. Mike Rogers against the young defenseman, Ron Millen. Rogers trying to kick it out in front. Nedomansky places it behind. There is Fatihu all over the place. Gary Rissling, that's a matchup. Rissling and Fatihu. And now Pittsburgh comes out. Fatihu chasing his man. but Dave Hannon, a 10th round draft pick, puts it in front. And the Rangers not allowing anything in close. The only thing was Keogh's blast. Feltrin off the skate, and it is now Dave Hannon circling in front. Leaves it for Feltrin. Two more of the young players. Dave Maloney, the captain of the Rangers, onto the stick of Fatihu. Trying to lead Fatihu again, but it's intercepted. So Tony Feltrin drops it back, and the shot is blocked, and we have a penalty coming up. The penalty on the Rangers. It skips by Hanlon. Hanlon having some problems with those shots in front. Baxter winds. Fatihu gets a piece of that. Baxter still with possession. Andre Celeron in front, and it goes all the way down. The Rangers still did not get possession, so the Penguins try again. 10.5 minutes to go in this first period. Baxter takes a big bump by Dave Maloney, and finally Kleinendorris races back to get it. And after all that, Rangers with a little rest, and now they'll be killing this penalty. For our local affiliates, we'll pause now. You're watching NHL Hockey on the USA Cable Network. Well, this is the best attempt for Pittsburgh so far.
Well, it was a 3-on-1 opportunity, and boy, did Kehoe blast that puck. Again, as you'd mentioned earlier, Hanlon really didn't get a good eye on that puck. He's been a little bit shaky.
And now Pittsburgh should have another good opportunity. They are in the power play. Dave Maloney goes off. 2 minutes for hooking at 9 minutes and 38 seconds. And quickly the Rangers send it out. They have Randy Carlyle being chased by Ron Duguay. Paul Gardner, who is almost a designated power play hitter, Pat Dutet. Gardner works into the boards. Carlyle back along the sideboards. The shot by Keough, and the save. Gardner gets it out to Shedden, across to Carlyle. So Pittsburgh last year led the NHL in power play goals. Saved by Hanlon, and Duguay clears, just gets it out.
Pittsburgh really like to utilize the pick plays once they get possession in New York zone.
Keough has 12 power play goals. Boutet has 12, Gardner 15. So the big guns are out there now. Saved by Hanlon, and a score! Rick Keough finally gets it. Stopped on the last one by the post, but this is a goal by Keough to tie it up. He has been out with an injury, missed the last 5 games because of the knee, and gets his first goal in his first game back.
Well, Pittsburgh had excellent possession, but watch the pick. The pick was run right at the top, but here Hanlon makes the original save, but Kehoe, the puck comes right to him. He's parked all alone. Let's watch it again from another angle. Watch Kehoe over to the left of our screen. There you see him. He doesn't have too much of a problem looking for an empty area to put that puck into the net. Hanlon was cut way over to the side. Again, Pittsburgh having excellent possession. They really did move the puck around well, and a good pick there that Boutet took Duguay right out of the play, right at the top.
And again, Gary, as we've seen here in this first period, Hanlon really having problems with the rebounds. And it's a 1-1 hockey game. Keough is 26 of the season as a fight breaks out. Chartres going at it with Gary Rissling.
Well, as we see, Chartres is right on top of Rissling. That's a great close-up shot. Rissling isn't able to throw too many punches in that position. You know, Chartres tonight has played very aggressively the few shifts that he's had. I think that he was out of the lineup. He was sat out of the lineup, and it looks like he wants to play.
Well, it's a middleweight. Rissling, 5'9", 175, maybe cruiserweight, against Chartres, heavyweight at 6'2" and 210. Now we'll be back for more fireworks. Well, Gary Rissling takes his seat for the next 5 minutes. He and Chartres each go out at 10:51 for a fighting. Let's see where it all developed. Nothing like a good bump into the boards to get it started.
Well, Rissling is known as a good body checker for the small body that he actually has, and he really lays Chartres there, but that is where it all started.
9 minutes to go in this first period. 1-1 between the Rangers and the Penguins. By the way, Keough's goal was assisted by Shedden and Gardner. Pavlich, he has McClanahan. McClanahan goes through and he scores!
Well, what a beautiful play here. McClanahan really showing an act of balance as he was skating backwards at the time, received the pass, and was still able to get good possession enough to be able to get a shot away. Beautiful pass here by Pavlich, though, but look at the way McClanahan took that pass. He was skating backwards, and he got off a backhand, a shot that fooled goaltenders more times than not.
So McClanahan gets his 16th goal of the season. The two Olympians team up.
Well, a beautiful pass by Pavlich. You know, what a playmaker this guy has turned out to be.
Well, in basketball, you've heard of the 360. That was a 180 by Rob McClanahan. It's a guy who was drafted by Buffalo, played there out of the Olympics, then was traded, played for 4 teams last year before the Rangers signed him, and now reunited with Pavlich. Rangers again on the attack, but it's an offside. So the Rangers take a 2-1 lead. 11:15 the time of the goal. Pavlich along with Hedberg getting the assists. And for Pavlich, that's his 30th assist of the season. He has 28 goals, 30 assists, third leading scorer on this Ranger team.
We'll watch again closely as McClanahan comes. He tries to get by the Pittsburgh defenseman. He was successful at getting by Meehan. But the way that he took that pass, a very miraculous play.
Yes, says Rob McClanahan. It certainly was a pretty one. He never saw it go in, but he certainly heard the crowd respond, and it gives the Rangers a 2-1 lead. Keogh has the lone Penguin goal. He is getting his shots, making up for lost time, coming off the injury. Kleinendorris sends it in off a stick. And now Pittsburgh just shooting it back the other way. Barry Beck, the captain of the New York Rangers, plays it cross ice. Ron Duguay, he's on with Chris Contos, the rookie. First-round draft pick of the Rangers, number 23, and number 28, Mikko Lehtonen, in his second season. And Lehtonen has it. He can do wonders with that stick. Drop back to Beck. He puts it in front. The rebound, and they score again! Mikko Lehtonen at the right place at the right time. 3-1 Rangers.
I don't think Michel Dion even saw that puck. Lehtonen really let it go right from a good scoring area, the slot. Let's take a look at it. Beck sets it up from the point. The initial save was made by Dion, but a big rebound, a costly rebound came out. And Lehtonen really blasted that puck. It no sooner got on his stick than he let it go. Again, I don't think Dion even saw it.
So Mikko Lehtonen scores his 16th of the season, keeping track with McClanahan. Pittsburgh moves in front, but Glenn Hanlon comes out and doesn't let that one get any further. So Lehtonen scores at 12:31, a minute 6 seconds after McClanahan's goal. Barry Beck and Ron Duguay get the assists on that. So Glenn Hanlon now has himself a 2-goal lead. He is getting his 10th start for the Rangers. 3-5-1 is his record. Lehtonen, as we told you, could do tremendous things with a stick, is more of a playmaker than a scorer, but with 16 goals this year. And the extra plus with this man, Gary, he speaks fluent English, so he helps Reijo Ruotsalainen along as his interpreter. Reijo, though, learning a few more words.
Well, he has definitely
in his second season.
Good addition to the hockey club.
Dave Maloney plays it back to Tom Laidlaw. 3-1 Rangers lead the Penguins. And across the river, the Jersey Devils enjoying this one. A win by Pittsburgh or a tie would move them ahead of Jersey for what it may be worth. And that is worth quite a bit for Lou Nanne and the Minnesota North Stars, because they have the #1 pick of the Penguins in the draft coming during the offseason. Don Maloney ahead to Mike Rogers, the leading scorer on the Rangers. And Pittsburgh coming back. Doug Shedden carrying, being watched by Barry Beck, and he overskates. The prospect of meeting Barry Beck head on certainly can shake that puck loose from your stick. Maloney, he is turned around. Beck, does he keep it in? Yes, he does. And Mike Rogers is there. He has Maloney in front, but it's broken up by Randy Carlyle. And now Pittsburgh coming back. Shedden has as the Penguins go in offside. So 6 minutes and 9 seconds remain in this first period. Rangers 3, Penguins 1, and our break for our local affiliates.
The end of period of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now the power play and the specialty teams for Pittsburgh have been sputtering lately. That will certainly be a topic of conversation, as well as what it feels like to be where Pittsburgh is right now in last place. After that, Gary Green will join me. We'll talk about news in the NHL, Saskatoon, the Capitals, and the Sabres all making headlines. Stay tuned.
The fight is on in the Ranger end. 3-1. The Rangers lead the Penguins, and they get it out. Once again, the interesting line of Fatihu, Nedomansky, and Faturik for the Rangers. As Barry Back goes back, being chased by Lee. Peter Lee all over Back. Rangers still can't get it out. Hawkinson crunches back. Fatihu misses the check. The board's really being rattled here, Gary. Seemed back the other way. Looks like Barry Beck enjoys that kind of stuff. And Fatihu with a miss. He certainly knows how to crunch the boards.
Well, we see Nicky with his mouthpiece hanging out right here. He wasn't playing the puck on that last hit. He was definitely had one thing in mind, and that was to be able to get as good a hit as he possibly could, as we see him line up the Pittsburgh player. And I would say that it was almost a needless piece of energy on Nicky.
Nicky enjoys it too. Eddie Johnstone, in his third year as coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, after 1 year with Chicago, and he is back on the bench, Gary, after coaching a few games from the press box, taking a long look to try to see from afar what's going on out there. 3-1, the Rangers lead the Penguins. 5 minutes to go in the first period. Hanlon, who's splitting the goaltending chores with Eddie Mio on New York. 3 goalies that were here last year, all in the minors. Steve Weeks, Steve Baker, and John Davison now again trying to come back from another injury. 4:43 to go in the first period. Tony Feldrick plays it across to Paul Baxter. Baxter being checked by McClanahan, who has one of the 3 Ranger goals. Pavlich able to get that stick on it. And it's intercepted by the Penguins. This is Steve Gatsos. Plays it in front, but only the Rangers are there. So the Penguins again unable to get close to Hanlon. Baxter takes it in. And Barry Beck, he was looking at that one for a while, salivating at the thought. Contos breaks in. The backhand, and Dion comes out to save it. 4 minutes on the nose, remaining in period number 1. 3-1, the Rangers lead Pittsburgh. Racing back for it is Mark Chorney, the All-American out of the University of North Dakota. Carlisle, who has been in and out this year, Gary. Series of injuries, and that too has hurt the Penguins. Bullard, top check of the night by his own man Pio. Carlisle shoots it ahead. Racing for it now is Lennon, trying to get it out, but he can't. Chorney the shot, kick save. Pio can't control in front. Rogers looking for Duguay. He was held by Carlisle, and Ron Wick saw it. So Carlisle arguing that, no question about it, as he held Fatihu. National Hockey League, coast to coast on USA.
Game tonight in the National Hockey League at Boston Garden. The Bruins lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0 in the first period. Toronto only leads Detroit by 2 points in the Norris Division.
Down. Pittsburgh's penalty to Randy Carlisle at 16:48 for hooking. So the Rangers with the puck in the Pittsburgh end. Mikko Leninen, again the stick man on the point. Maloney behind the net. Johnstone back out to Leninen. He fires again, looking for the screen. A lot of congestion in front of Dion. The shot, Dion covers up, rebound, and Rogers can't get to it. The Finnish back line at the point. Leninen and Ruotsalainen. Ruotsalainen taking a look across to Leninen, being chased by Celeron. Rogers pokes it in front, and Don Maloney was taken out in front. So finally a clear path in front of that man.
Well, Dion covering up on that one because he was having great amount of difficulty just trying to see the puck. Maloney really doing an excellent job of screening him. Dion's not a big goaltender, and as a result, when you get a great big player like Maloney standing in front of you, it's very difficult to get a good sight line on the puck where the shooter is. And so as a result, I think Dion was just as happy to get a whistle.
Pat Boutet circling for the face-off against Pavlich. 2:33 to go in this first period, a minute 22 in the Ranger power play. Sitting out Randy Carlisle for hooking. And now the Rangers will set it up. They have one power play goal tonight. First goal of the game, that's scored by Don Maloney. And it's sent in, chasing for it. Hedberg, he can't get very far. Dion helps himself out, trying to clear. And Leninen can't keep it in. Andre Celeron takes a look, he fires it, and it goes wide. Now the Rangers will have to start up again. Minute 53 to go. This first period, Rangers lead 3-1. 40 seconds in the power play. Leninen having problems. It comes out to Kleinendorris. Rangers look around. The shot is tipped just wide. Sneaky knock. Pavlich getting the stick down in front. The shot again, and the broken stick as Nedomansky can't keep it in. So the Rangers have to retract. 15 seconds on the power play. A minute 25 remaining in the first period. Rangers with 7 shots. That's all on goal. They have scored on 3 of them. Dave Maloney tries to break through as he smashes Baxter into the boards, and the Rangers get the face-off. The penalty is over as Paul Baxter, the policeman, and you talk around the league, the instigator on this Pittsburgh Penguin team. He returns from a shoulder injury that has cost him the last 4 games. Penguins with 9 shots on goal, the Rangers with 7, but the Rangers lead in the all-important scoring statistic, 3 goals to 1. Goals scored by Don Maloney, Rob McClanahan, and Mikko Leninen. Rick Keogh, in his first game back since the injury, shelved him for 5 games as the lone Pittsburgh goal. Robbie Faturik, a little pepper pot, number 8, steps in. And Barry Beck poke checks the puck into the Pittsburgh end as we come down to a minute to go in the first period. And now Pittsburgh on the attack. Bullard looking for Keogh. Keogh places it in front, and Duguay is back there. He's content just getting it out of the zone with 48 seconds to go in the first. Shorty shoots it ahead. Bullard trying to bust in, and another penalty is called. This against Tom Laidlaw. Not a good one for the young man as Bullard trying to break in. Puck was shot ahead. He would have never had the shot on goal, and with just 37 seconds to go, Bullard also taking a nice dive, helping Ron Wicks out on the play. So with 37 seconds left, the penalty to Laidlaw for hooking at 19:23. So Pittsburgh will have the advantage for the remaining 37 seconds in this period, and whatever is left should they not score for the second period. Penguins have scored earlier on the power play. That's their lone goal. Face off to the right of goalie Glenn Hanley. Comes back to Carlisle. Shedden. Cross to Carlisle. He's looking for Keogh, but it is broken up by Pavlich, and now the Rangers with a break. And Duguay, it is too far for him, and now the Penguins racing the clock. 18 seconds to go in the period. Malone cannot hold on to it. And I believe another penalty is coming up. The Rangers will be 2 men down as Dave Maloney will join his teammate Tom Laidlaw in the penalty box. It will be only 9 seconds here in this first period, and then the Penguins, to start the second period, will have just about a minute and a half with a two-man advantage. They call it a cross-check. Maloney putting his man down, and he goes off 2 minutes for the cross-checking. So, Pittsburgh setting it up. 9 seconds. They've had quite a few two-man opportunities this year. This has been another problem. Their power play, and they have been overpassing on a two-man advantage. Rangers get the key face-off. That should just about do it as far as this period is concerned. 3 seconds to go. 2-1. And there is the end of the first period of play. But the Rangers in hot water. When they start the second period, they will be 2 men down for close to a minute and a half to start the second period. The shots on goal in the first period, Pittsburgh 9 and the Rangers 7.
Now the Rangers have 2 more games scheduled this week here.
And we will be back in between periods with our guest Paul Gardner. Score after 1, Rangers 3 and the Penguins 1. Rangers added a goal. Mikko Lehtonen scored just a minute and 6 seconds later, 3-1, which leads us into the second period. And it's Pittsburgh on the attack. Randy Carlyle, and a save by Hanlon, and he covers up. The Pittsburgh Penguins have a great opportunity right now, a two-man advantage with Tom Laidlaw and Dave Maloney in the penalty box for the Rangers. As Randy Carlyle looking for the shot and looking for the rebound. There is Al Troutwig's guest, Paul Gardner. What he does best on the power play, lurking right in front. A minute 10 to go in the penalty to Laidlaw, and Maloney with a minute 38 to go in his. Pat Boutet will take the face-off against Ron Duguay. 3-1, the Rangers lead it. Keogh tries to get in, and it is kicked down by Duguay, and Duguay making chase with Carlyle. And the Penguins now come out. Shevin ahead to Boutet. He has Keogh on his left. Keogh is circling. Randy Carlyle waiting at the point, gets it. He fires the shot, save, rebound in front, but it is cleared by Barry Beck. 35 seconds to go on the Laidlaw penalty, a minute to go on Maloney's. Pittsburgh, Keogh in front, he had 2 men there, and it goes by. The pass just too hard. Carlyle again setting it up at the point. Keogh, and a glove save by Hanlon, his best save of the night, just walking out of the air. 3-1, the Rangers lead. The scoring summary in the first period. Maloney is 29. Keogh, number 26, tied it up. And McClanahan and Lehtonen, number 16 apiece, to give the Rangers the 2-goal lead. 3-1, Rangers.
Well, Hanlon really did make a good save on that one. You notice that he left just enough room there, at least from where Rick Kehoe saw it, that he was going for the short side. But Hanlon got his glove on it. He made sure of that one.
So the Rangers still with a 2-man disadvantage, as Mark Pavlich will take the draw against Pat Boutet. Boutet looking to get it back to Carlyle. Shevin cuts it off. Laidlaw getting ready to come in. 10 seconds. Gardner off the boards for Carlyle. And this should about do the first penalty. 2 seconds left on it. Laidlaw comes on the ice, and here comes Laidlaw out of the penalty box. He has a breakaway. Dion getting set, and he makes the save. Pittsburgh still with a man advantage for 15 seconds. What a break for the Rangers. Bobby Fatihu goes behind, and he fires it all the way down. It gets by Carlyle, and that will do it. The Rangers fend off a 2-man disadvantage, and they hear it from the Madison Square Garden crowd. Andre Celeron with 3 Rangers back. These two teams will face one another again tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. Tonight, the first of a home-and-home series. Rangers lead the series 4-1. Bullard puts it in the corner. Steve Gatsos behind for Greg Malone. He is pinned in there by Lennon. 2.5 minutes gone by in the second period. Pittsburgh fighting to get it in front. And Hanlon comes out to stop it. This is NHL Hockey on the USA Cable Network, and we will return with more action after this. Teams at equal strength, and the Pittsburgh Penguins do it. Bullard scores to pull the Penguins to within 1.
Well, that was a short-sighted goal. Hanlon had left a little bit room before, as we had seen on Rick Kehoe's, but he was able to nab that one. This one he wasn't able to. Good shot by Bullard. I really don't know where he found the room to put it in, but obviously Hanlon left a little there. Take a look at it from a real close angle. Well, just underneath of his blocker, it seems, right between his hockey pants and his blocker. That was all the room that it took.
Bullard just rifling it in, and he pulls the Penguins to within 1. So Pittsburgh, who had a 2-man advantage for over a minute and a half, could not score. And now, just moments after that, Bullard scores his 17th goal of the season. Here's a young man who missed training camp because of mononucleosis, missed his first 20 games, and since coming back, he has 38 points in 43 games. So the Penguins are right back in business. 16 and a half to go in the second period, and Pittsburgh on the attack again. Beltran, the rebound in front, open net. And Hannon's shot just goes wide. It was there. Gary Rissling battling on his knees to get it out. Eddie Johnstone, he has 11 goals this year. 10 of them have been on the Madison Square Garden ice. And an offside call against the New York Rangers. And you just feel a shift right now as we have a change here at Madison Square Garden. With the score, Rangers 3, Pittsburgh 2 will return. As we return, the Rangers with a 1-goal lead and also a 1-man advantage as Paul Baxter was hit for elbowing a 2-minute penalty. He goes off at 3:54, so the Rangers have the man advantage. Pittsburgh again 19th in penalty killing in the NHL. And they are also second in penalty minutes, so those two do not go hand in hand. One reason the Penguins are really struggling this year. Andre Celeron, the veteran, keeps it away from Anders Hedberg. Really nursing it well along the boards, and now it comes out. 38-year-old Vaclav Nedomansky, number 34. And he is a power play specialist. He has 10 goals this year. 8 have come on a power play. 34, Nedomansky, who cannot hold it in. Pat Butek, who's seeing a lot of action on the specialty teams, both power play and penalty killing. Fans getting on their Rangers, unable to skate out of their circles here. Butek tries to shake it loose. And Maloney watches it come out. Being checked by Malone. 14:46 to go in the second period. Rangers 3, the Penguins 2. Just 35 seconds in the power play. Kleinendorris. Back to Scott Kleinendorris. Scored from the other point. Reijo Ruotsalainen blasts it home.
Well, it was an excellent shot by the point without any question whatsoever. Michel Dion having problems, it seems, with those long shots tonight, but I'm not so sure that perhaps it was not tipped in right in front of the net. Let's take a look at it closely. We see Ruotsalainen winding up and blasting that puck as soon as he received the pass. Well, it's very difficult to tell.
Well, we'll see another look. That is Anders Hedberg lurking in front. It happened so quickly, we'll just have to wait for the official announcement. Let's see if this will give us a better look. They give it to Hedberg. Redirecting. If he did not touch it, he certainly helped screen Dion. And the Rangers take the 4-2 lead. Well, the Rangers have been averaging 10 goals a game in their last 2 at home. And another penalty coming up. This to the Rangers as Pittsburgh on the attack, and the whistle blows. A charging penalty, says Ron Wicks. Hedberg scores his 20th of the season. Rutsalainen and Kleinendorris with the assist at 5:32. As Robbie Fatorik goes in, we pause for our local affiliates. You're watching NHL hockey. So Robbie Fatorik sits it out for 2 minutes. At 5:54, he goes off for charging. And now Pittsburgh trying to move to within a goal again, Gary Green, and they have their potent power play front line out there. Number 17, Riccio, number 15, Pat Boutet, and number 20, Paul Gardner. It is Boutet who chases it in, brings it right in front. It is loose, and they score. Gardner did not waste any time. There seemed to be a hesitation. The light did not go on until late.
Well, Gardner, we heard him in between periods. He said where he likes to be the best on those power plays, right out in front of that net area. Boutet really doing a lot of work on this power play. But watch Gardner coming in right from the side. He was parked in front of the net just prior to that. He saw the loose puck. Excellent angle he had in order to see that loose puck. He saw that Hanlon had made the initial save, but that puck had come out just a few feet and was laying right in the crease area. Paul Gardner scoring a power play goal.
He certainly has a nose for the net. His 20th goal of the season. That's his 16th power play goal. He led the NHL with 21 power play goals last year. And he also missed 21 games. So it's a one-goal game again. And now the Rangers come right back. On our way to a slugfest here tonight on the scoreboard as Maloney tries to tuck it in. Rutsalainen turned around, and now Bullard starting out. Greg Malone, the steady left wing for the Penguins. 4-3. Rangers lead it by 1. And it's just swatted out of there by Rogers. And right to his own player, so the infraction and the faceoff will come in the Rangers' end.
Well, as we take a look at Rutsalainen, he was the guy that took that big shot that Hedberg obviously did deflect to score the Rangers' 4th goal. Power play goals have definitely been a factor in this game thus far.
Gardner's goal, assist to Boutet and Shudden. 4-3, the Rangers lead it by 1. Rangers at 500, 27 wins, 27 losses, and 8 ties. That is 8 points behind third place Washington. The Rangers, though, have 2 games in hand. If they have any designs of catching the Caps, they have 17 games to go after this one tonight. Pittsburgh right now has played 1 more game than New Jersey, not including this one tonight, and they are tied with 37 points apiece. Malone with 3 Rangers back, weaving his way through, had the possession finally taken away. Pavlich. And it is Pavlich streaking in. He has McClanahan, and Dion outguessed him. The two trying to hook up. They did earlier for a goal. Bullard fakes the shot, trying to go around Laidlaw, and then he bullets it on, and Hanlon decides to hold on. He saw a little bit of black and gold, and it was a wise decision.
Mike Bullard definitely has not had the greatest season this year, but as you'd mentioned, he'd had mono to start the season off. He's had some injuries that have kept him out. That has been disappointing because last year he scored 36 goals for the Pittsburgh club. You see Bullard trying to score from that sharp angle.
And at the other end, this is Pavlich again combining with McClanahan.
Well, Dion came out and just really made a sweeping save. Still see the puck laying there, but no Ranger was able to pick up that rebound.
No, but McClanahan was right on that pass from Pavlich with a nice tip. He was just beaten by Dion, who made a nicer play. 12 minutes, 12 seconds to go in this second period. Penguins 1 goal behind hometown Rangers. Carlisle, he blasts it, and a kick saved by Hanlon, who came way out to meet him. Ron Duguay with Carlisle back. He returns the favor, and that one whistles wide. Chris Condos puts it in front, and it turned Duguay around. Randy Carlisle, one-time Norris Trophy winner, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Contos off the boards. It is kept in by Chorney. Randy Boyd, another of the youngsters in the back line, just 20 years old. Hawkinson can't put it in, but Boyd has it. Gets around Contos. Still with the puck, ridden to the boards, and he is put out of the play by Beck. Hanlon stops it for his defense. 11 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the second. Duguay virtually all alone, so he'll stop, he'll wait. Steve Gatsos chases back, and the puck is finally paid. 11 minutes on the nose remaining in this second period. It's the Rangers 4 and the Penguins 3. 9 minutes into the second period, the Rangers holding on to a 1-goal lead. An offensive night here at Madison Square Garden. 4-3 New York over Pittsburgh. And the puck now in the Penguin end. The shot by Maloney. Again, congestion in front of Dion. The Pittsburgh defenseman not clearing out in front, and it has cost them tonight. Maloney racing back. Fatihu, who is certainly built low to the ice, gets back up and pursues Dave Hannon, 10th round draft pick, who has made it with Pittsburgh. And Gary Rissling going after Maloney, I believe it is. After the check, nothing shy about that. Rissling just beelining for the back of Maloney.
Well, there's going to be a few players kicked out of this game because obviously the Rangers, I believe it was Tom Laidlaw, was the third man in.
So Rissling, who is off for fighting earlier in the game, along with Rick Shatra, Nick Fotiu happened to be on the ice for the Rangers at the time, and it is Laidlaw now. As Gary mentioned, the third man in, Herb Brooks, saw that Rissling went after one of his valuable players on the ice, the defenseman, Dave Maloney.
I don't know what sparked that, Al, but Gary Rissling definitely really kind of came from behind on that last play. Let's watch it here. He initially threw the body check, but then he threw the glove when Maloney was more or less looking over to the side. Hanlon almost got into it, but you know, I think Tom Laidlaw was right in coming in there to help out his teammate. Well, it's not over yet. I think Nicky Fotiu is going to finish off where maybe Tommy Laidlaw had started. He is not too happy whatsoever about Rissling.
Well, Rissling perhaps now trying to count his teeth. That's what may precipitate it, because he did appear he got the stick high and then went right after Maloney. So good night for Mr. Rissling. And to this point, Maloney is still on the ice.
I doubt very much whether Maloney will get anything out of this whole ordeal, because he just really was knocked down by Rissling and stayed down. I don't believe he threw any punches.
Well, Gary Rissling certainly did, as he had the position. And right now, penalties being dished out. Ron Wicks needs a calculator, perhaps for this one. Rissling, the very aggressive young man for the Pittsburgh Penguins at 5'9" and 175 pounds. You know, he played 2 partial seasons for the Penguins, and in 42 games coming into this year, he had 1 goal and 198 minutes in penalty. And now Maloney continues the discussion with some of Rissling's teammates. Things are getting very hot, and this is what started it all.
Well, as we see, Rissling definitely.
Well, that's not what started it all. That was after Maloney's check. Maloney, no angel in this. He got Rissling with a stick up high. Whether it was accidental or not, we do not know. Only that man knows for sure. As Maloney goes to the bench and not the penalty bench.
Well, Ron Wicks was referring with his linesman. And that is certainly a good rule that was placed, giving the referees the abilities to get information from the linesman. Rossiker, as we see out there, he was giving some of his input.
All right, now the penalty.
Of Pittsburgh, Gary Rissling receives 5 minutes for fighting in a game misconduct. Number 2 of New York, Tom Laidlaw, receives 2 minutes for roughing and a game misconduct. Time of all penalties, 9 minutes, 30 seconds. 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
Well, Dave Maloney walks away from that one unscathed. As Rissling, 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct. And then Tom Laidlaw, who was the 3rd man in, 2 minutes for roughing, along with a game misconduct. So he and Rissling are now out. And Eddie Johnstone saying, what about Maloney? Hey, what's going on here?
Well, that's exactly what he's saying right now. I'm sure that he is questioning, as is his assistant coach, Mike Corrigan, behind him, the fact of why Maloney is not being penalized. But again, I'm not against that call the least bit. I think that Maloney wasn't intentional. If he did get him with his dick, obviously something angered Rissling. But I know one thing, it doesn't take too much to get Gary Rissling started into fisticuffs. You might just say, how are you tonight, Gary? And that's enough for him.
I don't think you have your helmet buckled up, Gary. Boom. So Ron Wicks does his work. Dishes out the penalties. Looks that it came at 9:32 of the second period. 4-3, the Rangers hold on to the lead. And yes, fireworks brewing here at Madison Square Garden. 2 teams who are kind of looking into their inner selves. The Rangers gearing up for the playoffs, and the Penguins trying to avoid the embarrassment of the cellar in the NHL this year.
You know, Al,
Rangers with the puck in the Pittsburgh end. Each team now skating 4 players. The Rangers will have a man advantage for 3 minutes. They've got the advantage on those penalties. Doug Shedden now roughing it up in his own end. Hits the center line and smashes it in on Hanlon. Another shot, and Hanlon kicks that one out. Mike Rogers picking up speed, but he is taken out nicely by Paul Baxter. Dave Hannon plays it back to his teammate Randy Carlyle, and that puck sails into the crowd.
At Boston Garden, they've played 1 period, and they've now entered the 2nd period. Boston and Toronto are tied at 2, a very important game for the Maple Leafs. They lead Detroit by only 2 points for that last playoff spot in the Norris division. That's at Boston Garden tonight.
57 seconds remaining in the penalty to Laidlaw. Sitting that one out is Nedomansky. And 3:57 to go in the fighting penalty to Gary Rissling, with Paul Gardner sitting that one out for his teammate. Laidlaw and Rissling, history as far as tonight is concerned. Baxter bumps Duguay. And Kleinendorris being watched by Bullard. Going one of the top performers on the ice tonight for Pittsburgh. And it goes all the way down. 28 seconds to go. The Ranger penalty, 3:28 in the Pittsburgh penalty. So the team's at equal strength right now, but the Rangers will have a man advantage for 3 minutes. Bullard fires, and it's plucked out of the air by Hanlon. Nice save by Hanlon. He certainly did have enough space and time to come up with it as Bullard letting it go from afar. 3 seconds, and the Rangers will have a man advantage. As Nenomansky comes on, Maloney is like the cat tonight, has more than one life, and the Rangers will have to regroup. Well, they have a man advantage now for 2:46, no matter how many goals they score, as Rissling went off for fighting. Hedberg plays it out to Lennon. Lennon taking a look. Ruotsalainen back to Lennon. He has Nenomansky. Save and the rebound, and Boutet just carries it back to the safety of his goaltender.
Well, very smart move there by Boutet. He didn't really have any other alternative. He put that puck very gently back to Dion because
the dam locked behind him.
It would not be the first time that a player has scored on his own net. Well, we're taking a look at that Ranger power play. The great possession that they have there, really spread out, and we see Boutet just very nicely giving it to Dion, saying, here, you grab it and let's get a whistle.
Certain European touch on the power play for the Rangers. Ruotsalainen and Lennon, the two Finns on the point. Nenomansky from Czechoslovakia up front, and Hedberg from Sweden, along with the American Pavlich.
Oh, we've got the United Nations power play.
That's right, an Olympic look. Not a Canadian on the ice in the power play for the Rangers, outside of the goaltender. There's 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this second period. Rangers hanging on to a 1-goal lead over Pittsburgh. There's Hedberg, and they score! Dion comes out, and he gets burned.
Well, I think that puck actually went right in off of Dion. Dion came out very unexpectedly, and Hedberg was right there. He was, I think, just trying to feed the pass out in front of the goal crease area. Dion missing the puck behind the net, but no question about it. Dion deflected that puck right into his own net, surprising Hedberg, because again, I believe Hedberg was just trying to throw that puck out in front of the net to Nenomansky, but instead, Dion put it in himself.
Well, we see it again. Nenomansky may have gotten the stick on it. Let's see if we could tell from this angle. Dion, the stick out there, and it deflects right off the heel of the stick, bounces along the goal line, and Nenomansky tips it in. A good camera angle on that. So Nenomansky gets his 11th goal of the season, his 9th power play. Kleinendorris, and it goes off the post. Rebound. As Boyd takes Maloney down. Another shot. And Johnstone, tipping in front, got a piece of that. 5-3, the Rangers lead. Johnstone again. Rebound, score! Mike Rogers. Another power play goal. And they still have a minute and 30 with a man advantage. 6-3 Rangers.
Well, New York have gone wild on this power play opportunity. Who knows what could be left in the remaining minute and 30 seconds. Watch Rogers here. Dion plays the puck, or goes to play the puck off of the boards, but he wasn't very sharp on it. Rogers beat him to it and was able to easily put that puck by Dion. Dion really making some very questionable judgments right now. Let's take a look at it from another angle. Watch Dion when he comes out. The puck off the boards. Well, it's very difficult to tell from that angle. We see the two Pittsburgh players standing right in front of them.
Well, where some goaltenders, Gary, would hug the net on a shot like that, Dion did not. And so the Rangers 2 goals on this power play, and they're trying for 3. As Gary Rissling, who thought maybe he was firing his team up going after Dave Maloney, but it has cost his team a couple of goals. Mike Rogers, his 25th goal of the season. Johnstone and Kleinendorris with the assists. Live from Madison Square Garden in New York. We'll have more in a moment. Rangers have cracked this one open. They lead 6-3 with 2 power play goals, and they're still on a power play for another 50 seconds. In front, Lennon, and he whistles that one wide. Lennon right in there. He smells it now. In front, trying to set up Nedomansky again. Rangers have scored 20 goals in their last 2 home games, and they are right on the pace now. They have 6 goals already, and 6 minutes still remain in the second period. And the fans are having fun tonight at the expense of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Not to mention the Rangers. Rutsalainen fires, kick save, rebound, and Nedomansky staying right with it. 23 seconds to go in the power play. Seems like a lifetime for Dion. And now Celeron looking to clear, and he finally does.
Well, that is one of the few times that Pittsburgh has been able to actually put the puck down into New York's end zone. New York having excellent possession through that power play.
Duguay looking for the breakaway, but Hawkinson is back. And now Pittsburgh, it has been some time since they've gotten the puck into the Rangers zone. Hawkinson is tied up by Cantos, but he fights through it. Gatsos over skates. Randy Boyd fires. And Hanlon right there with a stick glove. And now the Rangers bouncing back 3-on-2. Duguay pulled down. No penalty called. And the Penguins fire back out. Gatsos. On Duguay. He's with Fatihu and Cantos. Runs into some heavy traffic. Still with the puck, controlling it with one arm. And Hawkinson clears it out. 4.5 to go in this second period. I'm Al Albert sitting in for Dan Kelly, along with Gary Green and Al Troutwig at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The Rangers leading 6-3. Mike Rogers hooked from behind as play continues. Malone on the left wing boards. Plays it out to Keogh. Keogh returning after sitting out 5 games with a knee injury. Has scored tonight for Pittsburgh. He is their leading scorer. 26 goals, 28 assists. Johnstone sets up Rogers. Rangers again, right in front. And a missed opportunity by Don Maloney, who scored the first goal of the night for New York. 3.5 minutes to go in this second period. Bullard, watched by Maloney. Pushed into the boards by Bullard, and once again, Maloney ends up in the arms of a Pittsburgh Penguin. A little different, though, this time. Last time, it changed the flow of this game.
Well, you know, New York tonight really have shown that they have got a much more cohesive unit together than they've had over the course of the last couple of months. Their puck possession is much better. Their passing is better. They're really clicking, and it's paying off. They're scoring goals. Here on this last opportunity that Maloney had, he just was wide of the net there, I believe. Rogers set him up beautifully, but the Rangers playing much better.
Rangers with 4 power play goals tonight, 4 of their 6. Nedomansky his 11th from Hedberg and Lennon, and then Rogers number 25 from Johnstone and Kleinendorris. Nedomansky's goal came at 12:28. Rogers at 13 minutes. 6-3, the Rangers lead. They will meet the Penguins again tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. Home and home series. Rangers looking to take a 5-1 lead in the season series with the Penguins, and they'll have 2 more games to go. 3 minutes left in the second. Pavlich can't get the control with the stick. And now he does. Hedberg off the screen to McClanahan. Rangers, Gary, just playing in front of that Pittsburgh net. The young Pittsburgh defense not really doing a job in clearing out.
Well, they're exactly good point, Al. They're not cleaning out in front of their net, not playing aggressively whatsoever. And you know, that's a shame because they're very capable of doing it.
Pavlich looks up and he finds only one man back, Baxter. Now he leaves it for McClanahan, and a kick save by Dion. 2:17 to go in the second. Rutsalainen sends it ahead. Chris Cantos.
The Adams Division leaders are rolling at Boston Garden. In the second period, the Bruins lead the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 4-2. Rick Middleton, who's been hot lately, has 2 goals in the game, and the Bruins lead it.
Well, the Bruins come into play tonight just 1 point behind Philadelphia in the overall standings. They will have played the same amount of games after this evening. Philadelphia with 89 points and the Bruins with 88. 2 minutes to go in this second period. Rangers have already played a hockey game. They have scored 6 to the Penguins 3. Nick Fotiu can't keep it in. And now Pittsburgh starts their attack. Hawkinson chases, but it comes all the way out to Duguay.
You know, interesting, Al, that they have been actually booing Ron Duguay a bit in this building tonight. He has not been very popular as of late, and that is very strange since he has been one of the most popular players over the course of the last few years.
Well, he has been involved in trade rumors probably the last month, and the trading deadline is not here yet. He has 18 goals this year after scoring 40 last season. And there is always a favorite, no matter what he does on the ice. Nick Fotiu, he is the first New York native to play with the New York Rangers.
He skates as hard to the bench for changing a shift as he does out on the ice, and that is a very disciplined move.
Big Pete Rose fan. A minute 45 left in this second period. Reijo Ruotsalainen seems to have been on the ice for this entire game for New York. Finds Mike Rogers breaking out. Rogers ahead to Don Maloney. Maloney, who scraps as well as anybody along the boards. Ruotsalainen now plays it back with a minute 23 remaining in the second period. Risky pass there by Johnstone, but Beck gets it out of trouble. Maloney shoots it in. Johnstone chasing. Plays it back nicely to Rogers. Randy Carlyle turns him around. Rogers comes out with it. And Dion stands his ground very well and makes the save and then has some company.
I'm not so sure that Dion perhaps wasn't hurt a little bit on that play. Seemed to take that shot right in the chest area, but Mike Rogers, such an intelligent hockey player. He is so shifty out there on the ice. When he gets possession of that puck, boy, he's a real treat to watch.
Eddie Johnstone, 11 goals this year, 10 at the Garden. You see what happened to his teeth. You know, he took that in one shot. Junior hockey, 19th at once, and he didn't miss a shift.
Well, he has played that way in his whole NHL career. Very aggressive player, and we see that last save by Dion. He's got Rogers sprawling on over top of him. He has had a rough night, Dion.
NHL All-Star the last 2 years. Last year, third in the voting for the Vezina Trophy, and certainly the star for Pittsburgh in the playoffs against the Islanders. In front, Dion still looking. Dion in a catch-22. He wanted to go out and get the puck, but he knew he could not. 53 seconds to go in this second period. Rangers led 3-1 going into the second period. And it was a 4-3 game here in the second when the Rangers with 2 power play goals. Gary Rissling called 5 minutes for fighting, was out, while Tom Laidlaw went 2 minutes for roughing. So in that 3 minutes difference, the Rangers struck for their 2 goals.
Well, I'm sure Eddie Johnson is not too happy now over that whole Rissling incident, especially because of the fact that it gave them, the Rangers, that power play opportunity for such a lengthy time.
Well, a diving Steve Gatsos gets it out of the zone, but it also got it out of the playing surface. And Dave Maloney, there's the guy who Rissling went after Maloney got the stick up high in Rissling's face, and Maloney just watched as Ron Wicks dished out the penalties, and he was not among them. Scott Kleinendorris, the young man from Providence College, who has been on a scoring tear. Saturday against Quebec, he scored his first 2 NHL goals, and he had 3 assists in the 11-3 victory over Hartford. Dave Hannon works his way in front. Baxter fires it back. 36 seconds to go in the second period. And we'll have a face-off in the Ranger end.
You know, Al, you're talking about Kleinendorris. Herb Brooks definitely very happy with his progression thus far, and I think Herb made a very valuable point, and that is they don't have a lot of youth on their hockey club with the Rangers, and so they have to start injecting some younger players into their lineup in order to give them a much more balance as far as age goes. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, have really injected some youth into their lineup and have really now got a very young hockey club when you take a look at guys like Bullard and Gatsos, and the list goes on.
Well, the defense, me at 18 years old, Boyd, Feltrin, 20 years old, Thorney's 22, Annan's 20 years old. Well, committed to rebuilding. They didn't think they would be doing it this soon after the way they came on at the end of last season. 15 seconds left in the second period. There is one of the 20-year-olders, number 8, Boyd losing the puck. Dion the stop, and they score! 7 seconds to go in the second period, and Eddie Johnstone gets his 12th of the season, his 11th here at Madison Square Garden. And if Pittsburgh had any hope of coming back, what a crusher that was. 7 seconds to go, and again, Pittsburgh dallying in front.
Well, Johnstone right out in front of the net. A backhand was what really initially got that play going. Dion making the save on the backhand, but then Johnstone right in the slot area was able to put that puck past Dion while Dion was down. But some excellent work by Maloney in the corner. But then here we see Johnstone right in front of the net area, and Dion down with his face to the ice.
And a mistake by the young 20-year-old Randy Boyd becomes costly. So that is the end of the second period. Shots on goal through 2 periods. It's the Penguins 23 and the Rangers 20. The score after 2, handily in front, and now it's just a question of what the final arithmetic will be. The fans here at the Garden looking to see the Rangers hit the double figures mark again. Last 2 games at home, they have totaled 20 goals, and they are certainly in range. Rangers could move now to within 10 points of Washington. 3rd place in the division. Off-balance shot by Lennon. It comes in front. Contos is there, and a penalty will be called. So the Penguins starting to get aggressive in front, and they're called on the penalty. And Michel Dion says, well, I got 2 minutes in front of me now. I've been beaten 4 times on a power play. We'll be back. So the Rangers on the power play again. They have clicked 4 times tonight on the power play. Coming into this game, they are ranked 11th in the league, right in the midsection of the NHL, and scoring 1 out of every 5 power play attempts.
It's amazing what 4 power play goals will do to your percentage in just one hockey game. The Rangers have really gotten their act together on the power play.
Probably lead the league now. Not to mention what it does for your confidence.
Well, confidence, that is the biggest thing that it does, because the teams with the good power plays going into playoffs oftentimes are the most successful teams, because those specialty units are vitally important in playoffs.
And once again, Herb Brooks fashioning the international power play with Lennon and Rutsalainen at the point. Pavlich, Hedberg, and Nedomansky up front. And Dion decides to just hold on, knowing full well what has happened once that puck got free in front of him.
It's interesting that Herb Brooks has gone to this unit of 5, but yet on the other hand, it's not surprising, because what you're really looking for in power play situations are the ability to pass, to receive the puck, the smartness that goes along with creating the plays, creating the best scoring opportunities, and that's what these 5 guys seemingly have done well tonight.
Pavlich gets the draw. Paul Baxter is sitting out. 2 minutes for hooking at 5:09 of this 3rd period. Carlisle just ragging the puck, brings it in, and then gives it away. Quickly it goes ahead to Pavlich. We saw that streak of lightning and his Hedberg, but the puck too far. But the Rangers have it again. And Dion got a piece of Nedomansky's shot, and Pittsburgh just Gets it out of danger, clears it into the crowd. 55 seconds to go, and the penalty to Baxter. Mikko Leninen seeing a lot of action at the point, and Michel Dion seeing a lot of action in front of him.
Well, you know, on that last particular play, watch the way that Nedemansky, he shoots the puck at the exact same time as he's receiving it. That makes for a very difficult play for the goaltenders because they have to move from one side of the net right across and be able to get their sight line on the puck at the same time. Nedemansky can do that very well.
7-year veteran Pat Boutet takes the face-off for Pittsburgh. Still scrambling for the puck. Rangers making some changes on their unit as Maloney now and Kleinendorris are at the point with Mike Rogers at center for Johnstone and Don Maloney. Rogers slowly brings it into the Pittsburgh zone. He now has room. He fires, and it is loose again, and there is Dion stopping it. So Dion making two nice saves. I believe he made that save on the first one on the screen, and the second one just closing up that side of the net.
Well, he had a difficult time making that last save because Eddie Johnstone, as we see here, was right in front of Dion and putting up quite a screen. Let's take a look at some of this action here. You know, Dion, you got to feel sorry for him tonight because he has had a lot of work, a lot of power play work against him, and you know what that means. That means a lot of players right in front of you trying to screen you. And in this particular case, it was amazing that Dion was able to see the puck when it came to him. Johnstone right in front of him, almost on top of him.
Don Maloney, the scrapper, you know he'll be in front. He scored his 29th goal of the season. That was the first goal. That was many goals ago. 3 minutes into the game, kind of told us what we would expect. He ties his career high for a season. 26 seconds still to go on the Ranger power play. Here is Don Maloney, working it away from Carlisle. Rogers out to Dave Maloney, a couple of years older than Don. 12 seconds on the power play. Rogers goes cross ice. Kleinendorris fakes it. He had Rogers in front. And the penalty is over. One more shot, perhaps. Rangers continue the pressure. 12:45 remaining in the third period. Kleinendorris flubbed on it, but it almost set up a nice tip in front, and another penalty coming up. So Ron Wicks going to the scorer's table to announce the penalty. Now word for our local affiliates. Would like to have caught a few more. Right now it's a double penalty. Boyd goes off for Pittsburgh, and Maloney goes off for the Rangers. Boyd for hooking, Maloney for roughing. Time 7:19. So the teams will be skating 4-on-4. And a little chance for Duguay to have some room. Tries to do it all by himself, but he is stopped by the Penguins defense. 7-3. The Rangers with a big lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Keogh skates in, and Hanlon came back. He was out of position, but he rushed back into the crease and makes the diving save.
And just in the nick of time as well, because that goal was wide open for Rick Kehoe. And you would expect a guy like Kehoe to take advantage of that situation, but that's just the luck that the Penguins have had. And here we see that blistering shot that he gets away, but Hanlon just coming back in between the posts in order to make that save. Talking about saves, by the way, that woman that made that save was Mrs. Sonny Werblin. So it's no wonder she came up with a great save. Hockey kind of is in the family.
Still 4-on-4. As Keogh is really making up for lost time. He's been out the last 5 games, and he's going to have at least a half dozen shots tonight. And we'll go again. Keogh taking the draw, stepping in against Chris Kontos. Racing back, Tony Feltrin with Mark Pavlich racing after him. Pavlich will have to wind back. Shawtraw now on defense with Barry Beck. A minute to go in the 2 penalties. Boyd off for Pittsburgh. Don Maloney off for the Rangers. Pavlich back to Shawtrap, plenty of room. And Feltrin bringing it out for the Penguins. Well, not exactly. Pavlich forces him back. Baxter the pass right onto the stick of his opposing defenseman, Barry Beck. Ranger fans getting a little patient. They want a little more, starting to boo their team that leads 7-3. Tough place to please them here at Madison Square Garden. Bullard, his shot, a rifle, beats Hanlon, but not on goal. And now Fatihu, behind the back, pass right to Pavlich, but he was leaving the ice. 10 seconds to go on the penalties, and the teams will be at full strength.
In the makeup of a blizzard postponement tonight at Boston Garden, they're in the third period, and the Bruins lead the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 5-3. Rick Middleton has at least 2 goals in that game.
All right, Al Tradwick. Al will be back with the USA MVP following tonight's game. 10:49 to go in this third period, and the Rangers have a lot of possibilities for the MVP this evening, leading at 7-3.
Well, their power play has definitely been their most valuable asset anyway tonight, as you'd indicated. 4 power play goals, and that has been the big difference in tonight's hockey game.
And they have had 7 different goal scorers. Point leader Mike Rogers with a goal and 2 assists. Carlisle gets a little extra in that check of Kleinendorris. Doug Shedden revving it up. In front, and the shot wide by Peter Lee. Nice setup by Shedden. Kleinendorris scrapping, and he puts Hawkinson down. Duguay with Fatihu, who had problems getting it started. 10 minutes to go in the third period. 10 gone, 10 to go in this final stanza. The Rangers leading at 7-3. They led 3-1 after 1, 7-3 after 2. Behind the net, Hawkinson tries for the wraparound. Shedden gets it back out to the point. Boyd fires, and it comes out to Fatihu. Fatihu, Saturday night in Quebec, with a point, gives him 18 points this year. And that is the most he has had in any one season. Beck with one arm fights off a Penguin, and with the other tries to clear. Fatihu with some fancy stick work. And the crowd loves it. Gets it ahead to Rogers, who is looking for Fatihu as one of the Penguins go down. Ron Meehan, the youngster, hit in the face. You able to catch that?
Well, I didn't, but their trainer definitely got out on the ice very, very quickly. He must have thought it was serious.
The bridge of the nose. Meehan goes down. We're live from Madison Square Garden in New York, and we'll be right back. Well, Ron Meehan getting that inadvertent stick from, I believe it was Contos or Rogers. Was Mike Rogers, and Meehan now back in the locker room having some work done. Looked like the bridge of the nose. Steve Gatzos plays it off the boards for Boutet. Boutet angling in, and Barry Beck coming back to smother it. Gatzos in front, and Hanlon decides to stop play right there.
Well, the Rangers have showed good effort tonight and back-checking as well, because Pittsburgh had a potential 2-on-1 situation there, but both forwards, 2 forwards in fact, for the Rangers, hustled right back, Maloney being one of them, and helped out by coming back, picking up a man, and that has been a big factor in tonight's game as well. The back-checking efforts of the Rangers. Pittsburgh haven't really had a lot of dangerous scoring opportunities, not in the last 2 periods anyway.
Hanlon 3-5-1 as a Ranger with a 3.75 goal average. Playing in his 10th Ranger game tonight. Boutet showing how how strong he is from a difficult angle. The save by Hanlon. And now a possible 2-on-1 for the Rangers. Rissling has Don Maloney for the tip, and there is Dion again. Beautiful setup, Rissling and Maloney.
Well, Maloney working extremely hard to get away and break away from the Pittsburgh defenders. Well, let's take a look at it. We see Maloney streaking through there. He was very successful, in fact, in breaking away from Randy Boyd, who was not able to catch Maloney. Maloney has really been on a hot streak. He's had 11 points in his last 8 games. They have to keep him healthy in order to go far in the playoffs, because he's definitely their best corner man in this hockey club.
When they signed Don Maloney and he joined his brother Dave Maloney here in New York, it was the first time that they had played together competitively in 12 years. And now, right now, helping to anchor this Ranger attack, and the Rangers with a heat on again. 8 minutes to go in this hockey game. The Rangers with a 7-3 lead. And the Rangers bust out. Number 28, Mikko Lehtonen, along with Chris Kontos. And Duguay brings it in offside, says the linesman. The fans do not agree. They want more here at Madison Square Garden. Their team leading it by 4. The two teams will meet again tomorrow night in Pittsburgh.
It seems to be that in any hockey game, when all of a sudden there's a 7 or 8 goal game, the home team especially has gotten, the crowd wants nothing more than to reach that magical number of 10, and they cry for it.
Well, Rangers just a field goal away right now. Dave Maloney winding up in his own zone. Rangers come in with a record of 20-10-2 on their home ice. That's only the second time in the last 8 years that they have won 20 at home. They have been a very successful road team. And this year they're having their problems on the road. 7-17-6. The bouncing puck goes wide, and Dion steers it aside. Chatra has problems with Malone. 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third period. Lehtonen, and he had a teammate offside. Don Maloney, McClanahan, Lehtonen, Hedberg, Nedomansky, Rogers, and Johnstone, the 7 goal scorers for the Rangers. And our alert for our local affiliates. And now looking at Mark Pavlich, who had probably the prettiest pass in the game, and the shots, Rangers 4 less shots than the Penguins, and they have 4 more goals than Paul Baxter's club. I'd say the prettiest goal was that Pavlich sent up to McClanahan, where he did the spin in the 180.
That was one you won't see again too often.
Unless, of course, we see it on the replay later. Pittsburgh right now with 6.5 minutes to go. In front was Hawkinson. Here's Baxter. He closes in, and it's a save by Hanlon. Got the pad down, got the stick in front of the pad to make sure he didn't leave a rebound. McClanahan takes a dive. 6 minutes to go. Paul Baxter nearly loses it in front. In the corner, it's Hedberg. You hear all that banging and the clattering behind the net. Shedden lugging it out. Cannot get around Dave Maloney. Sets it in front. Carlisle, great save, rebound, and it's shot wide. Hanlon comes out. He takes on Carlisle, and he deflects it with a glove. A beauty, and the Rangers go in offside. So Glenn Hanlon getting sharper as this night goes on.
Well, you know, Al, you talked earlier about how Hanlon looked a little bit shaky in the first period. Nothing greater for a goaltender if he feels he's having a little bit of an off game than for his team to jump out into an early lead. That gives him time, a little bit of confidence. Here on this One, Hanlon really initially made the big save on Carlisle's booming shot, and then I believe it was Hackinson there that had an excellent opportunity, but missed the wide open net.
Well, part of the key to success for Hanlon on that shot, you saw how far out he came. He looked to be about 7 to 10 feet away. So Carlisle had the big booming shot, but by the time he let it go, there really wasn't much of the net. Although it appeared as if he had that ticketed in the goalpost, and Hanlon had to make the quick glove save. 5:10 to go in this third period. Fatihu, that's got all the people standing here as he closes in, but by the end of that play, didn't have many options left. Carlisle tripped up, still passes it in front. Lennon played a fine game. Boyd fires, really whistled that one. And Fatihu clears it out. 4 minutes and 39 to go in this third period. Rangers comfortably in front by 4. Gantsos, the easy shot for Hanlon. He likes him that way. And now Nicky Fatihu doing his Eddie Shack impersonation.
Well, that he does extremely well, and boy, can he turn these fans around when all of a sudden there isn't an awful lot to cheer about in certain situations.
Turning the fans around, getting his goaltender dizzy. Bullard playing it ahead for Feltrin. Tony Feltrin crunched into the boards. Don Maloney taking a look, and he is knocked in by Feltrin. Malone, shot goes wide. 3:50 left in this hockey game. Rangers looking to move a game over 500. Back setting up Don Maloney. Ridden off the play. And Pittsburgh starts out. Keogh, it is too long as he chases into the corner with Kleinendorris. Hanlon was watching for Malone. He pays the price, gets hit by Barry Beck. And now the Rangers come back, 3-on-2. It is Rogers to Maloney, back for Rogers, but he is tied up by Randy Boyd. 3:10 left in this game. Maloney with a man on him. Score! Rogers! And the play made by Maloney. With one Penguin draped all over him. Maloney showing the strength, and Rogers was right there in front. Second goal of the night for Rogers.
Originally, when the Rangers were starting out on this offensive attack, they actually had a 3-on-1 because Randy Boyd, as we see at the top of our screen, had lost his stick. So he was really in a difficult situation. He couldn't utilize his stick, obviously. He didn't have one in his hand, and so as a result, all you could hope to do is keep people away in front of the net, or at least get your body on it. But as a result, the wrong guy was in front of the net for Randy Boyd because Mike Rogers takes advantages of those opportunities.
So the first Ranger to double up. First Ranger to score 2 goals tonight. That goes along with his 2 assists. 4 points for Mike Rogers, who now has 71 points this season. He has been a 100-point-plus man the last 3 years. Rogers' 26th goal from Don Maloney and Eddie Johnstone at 16:56 of this third period. Peter Lee and Hanlon with another save. Hanlon saying nothing's getting by me anymore. 2.5 minutes to go in this hockey game. Duguay looking for the break, but the pass went over 2 lines. Tonight, very few offsides. Do you remember an icing? If there was one, it was really early in the game.
Well, there has not been too many delays in that respect. Earlier in the game, we had some delays because of some fisticuffs. And as we take a look at Ron Duguay, we know that the Rangers right now probably would like to please the fans that are left in this building by perhaps scoring a few more goals just to get the enthusiasm going. The crowd really have known throughout the course of this third period that the Rangers were pretty much the winners when it came to the scoreboard anyway.
And now most of the crowd filing out with 2:20 to go. I think they are content that the Rangers will pick up a couple of points. Rangers Gary, they score another goal. They go up by 5, but they're slipping behind on the shots on goal category. They've been outshot 37-28, and you know, we're talking about all the scores on the Rangers as far as a star of the night. And all of a sudden, Hanlon may get some votes. He's had some big saves here in this third period. Although, of course, the game all but decided coming in. Rangers led it 7-3. Sometimes a goaltender in this kind of situation, his team leads 7-3, and he knows they may open up even more, leaving little protection for him as Paul Gardner walks in front. Comes out to Baxter. He pulls the trigger. Peter Lee chasing for it. 1:42 remaining in this game. And Baxter can't keep it in. Now with Baxter on the ice here at the end, frustration's high for Pittsburgh. You really have to watch him closely. Just 1:32 to go.
Well, I think, you know, that Paul Gardner summed it up very well in his interview with Al Troutwig, in the fact that Pittsburgh has really experienced great frustration, and as a result, frustration creates a kind of a losing situation that has really hampered this hockey. Things work the same way. When you're playing great and you're on a roll, you oftentimes keep winning. When you're losing and you get on a roll as well, and things are very difficult to turn around.
Keogh, Bullard, and Gardner, the 3 goal scorers for Pittsburgh. And an offside takes away that possible breakaway by Anders Hawkinson. The Penguins now will remain tied with the New Jersey Devils at 37 points apiece, but after this game, Pittsburgh now will have played 2 more games than New Jersey. And it's a shame as far as the Penguins are concerned, having to go through this kind of season, and they don't even have their first-round draft pick. That's owned by Minnesota in a switch of draft picks involved in a trade last year. So Minnesota is able to come up with Mr. Bellows. And here's Fatihu on a breakaway. He is dragged down, and there's a penalty coming up. The crowd wants a penalty shot, but that will not happen. Fatihu wasn't ahead of the crowd. But the Rangers, with an 8-3 lead for the final minute 2, will have the power play. They have scored 4 power play goals already tonight. Crowd booing because it is not a penalty shot.
Well, we see exactly how that happened. Nicky Fotiu did, though, get some type of a shot away. He actually just pushed the puck with his stick, and then I think he even tried to glove the puck into the net. He's a very determined guy. You know, it might have been the most entertaining thing of the evening if he could have gotten
Fatihu on the
exactly, if he could have
on a penalty shot.
Got a penalty shot.
All the fans who were in the exits would have been rushing back in. Herb Brooks perhaps saying, see what happens in the last minute 2. Could there even be another goal? Let's not waste all our goals now.
I'm sure they'll be thinking about saving some for Washington here Thursday night.
Rangers now in the last 3 games has scored 28 goals on their home ice. Herb Brooks keeping Nicky Fotiu out there on the power play. Nedomansky to Rogers, looking for the hat trick. 45 seconds to go in the game. And the Rangers taking their time to get it started. 37 seconds before 2 more points are put up there in the standings for New York. Rogers in front of Fatihu. Nicky trying to go behind the back on that one. 23 seconds to go. Lennon walking in, sets up Fatihu. He's got the shot. He does it.
He was just keeping them in suspense, Al. He knew all along he was going to score a goal before this game ended. 13 seconds to go in the hockey game, and the crowd loves it. Nicky Fotiu, one of their favorites, the New York-born hockey player.
Out of Staten Island. And right now, you see how Nicky Fotiu did it. It wasn't a penalty shot, but he still got the job done. Off the screen. Dion never saw it. 8th goal of the season for Fatihu, his 19th point, and that is a career high. 9-3, Rangers with 13 seconds left. Fatihu playing the screen perfectly, and it almost was scripted ever since he bust in and was pulled down by 2 Penguins.
Actually, a very smart move of Fatihu hanging onto that puck a little bit longer because that did set up the screen.
Well, Nicky Fotiu did not come up with a goal, but the assist. They give the goal to Johnstone on the tip. But it's Fatihu who set it up, and he still gets his 19th point. Never before has he reached such a high plateau in scoring. They give it to Johnstone as he gets his second of the evening. Fatihu and Lennon at 19:47.
Nicky's saying to himself, what do you got to do in a 9-3 game to buy a goal?
Rangers now 29 goals in 3 games at home. 5 seconds to go. Crowd wants 10. And that is it. Glenn Hanlon, who really came on in the late stages. He faced 37 shots and kept the door closed at the other end. So the Rangers congratulate Hanlon. Shots on goal in this 3rd period. Pittsburgh with 14, the Rangers with 11 for the game. Pittsburgh out shooting the Rangers 37-31. Coming up, our USA MVP, the final score at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers 9, the Penguins 3.